In this video, we're going to talk about the Innovation Code methodology, and we're going to learn how to harness the creative power of constructive conflict. Now, the very first thing we need to do is we need to assemble a diversity of perspectives. We need to get people around us who aren't like us. I want you to think about your everyday interactions. I want you to think about social media. All your friends are people who believe all the same nonsense you believe. They have the same sort of political views, maybe the same religious views, and if they don't, we unfriend them. This is called confirmation bias, which means we surround ourselves with people who basically confirm our view of the world. Now, that's wonderful if you want friends, but if you want to actually create innovation, it's probably the worst thing you can do because we've gotten rid of the loyal opposition. There's actually a term for this called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which means the more we seek out people who are like us, the more we have blind spots and kind of the dimmer and dimmer and dimmer we get. So the first thing we need to do is we need to know our own dominant worldview. Are we an engineer? Are we an artist? Are we a sage? Are we an athlete? And the way we're going to really know this is, what do we do when we're under stress? Which way do we go? Do we start talking to all of our friends like a sage? Do we sort of focus on a couple projects like an athlete? Do we look at all the data like an engineer? Or do we sort of wiggle our way through a vision like an artist is going to do? But what are we really? Are we right-handed or are we left-handed at the end of the day? Once we know that, we have to be very honest and objective with ourselves. What are our strengths and what are our weaknesses? You have to know that every strength brings a weakness, and with your weaknesses, you're going to have to find other people who have strengths where you have weaknesses. It's sort of like superheroes. Every superhero has sort of amazing strength, but they also have something that's really weak about them, and they have to find other people to sort of supplement that. We have to really look for others who have very different worldviews than we do, a different mindset. I want you to think about all the arguments that people have, for example, about politics, but we never go anywhere because we're trying to defend positions. What if we actually found someone else and consider this a growth opportunity to see if we could take these 2 points of view and create something new out of them? And in order to do that, we're going to have to find people with different ideas. And finally, and most importantly, we're going to have to make this constructive conflict normative. This isn't an event. This is something you want to surround yourself with every day, people and ideas, not just people, books and media that have different ideas than you have. This is how we're going to grow. This is how we're going to create that positive tension that's going to produce that third way, that new way, that better way. So we have to start by looking at what our strengths and weaknesses are and finding those very people who have different strengths and weaknesses that we do. And that will lead us to the next step, is we need to engage them in the creative power of constructive conflict.